is usually not a great time to need to go to the hospital, maybe aside from getting ready for the delivery of a child, perhaps. And even that right now might be a little fraught with worry over the virus taking up residence in seemingly every corner of the hospital. Good to have Bob Riney back with us again. He's the President and Chief Operating Officer for Henry Ford Health Systems. Bob, for starters here, kind of describe the level of stress that your system right now is being put under.
Well, good morning, and I'm really happy to be here because I would define our staff as being resilient, but really exhausted. As you can imagine, this has been a year-long battle, and I think what makes this current surge very difficult is we started to see light at the end of the tunnel, and we started to be able to schedule some of our caregivers for some desperately needed time off, and then this surge hit us again. So it's really disheartening for the team. Having said that, they wake up every day and go in and give it their all.
I really had thought that you and I had had our last conversation about this kind of situation in the state's hospitals, and yet here we are again. Did you think that we were maybe on tap for yet another surge, or are you as surprised as many others have been at what's happened in Michigan?
You know, we were very optimistic that the trend lines were all going in our favor, and we were worried about two things. One is the new variants that were emerging, and second, whether people would let down the discipline of behavior that had really helped us. And unfortunately, we saw the variants come in a big way, particularly the UK variant, and then we saw a letdown of some of those disciplines that had really helped us for so long. And so, here we are as it relates to those two things intersecting.
The governor, of course, on Friday really made a plea for some voluntary help from Michiganders, not really stringent shutdowns that we saw in the past. As the head of one of the state's biggest health systems, is that the right approach, or would you rather see us locked down again?
We're supportive of any effort that will help us ease the stress that we have right now. And, policies only get you so far, especially when they cover such a wide range of area. And so we're really hoping, and we do partner with the governor on asking Michiganders to do the right thing. And quite frankly, to think about the healthcare workers. They have been there for you each and every step of the way, not just for COVID, but for all of your other health needs. And they are going to be there in the future for all of us, but they're tired. And the best thing we can do is really support their need to get a break.
Part of the, in fact, Dr. Monto, before you, one of the things that people are pointing out is that the fact that fewer seniors are the ones showing up in the hospitals right now, and they're the ones who are getting the vaccine, is proof that this vaccine works. Tell me a little bit about the patients who are showing up at the hospital now compared to months ago.
And this is a good news story. I mean, it's not good news that anyone is ill with COVID, but the average age of the over 500 COVID positive patients that we have in our hospitals as of today is almost 12 years younger than it was during the first surge last spring. And that is one simple reason: vaccinations. And so we are proving that vaccinations work. And so we're urging everyone to get your shot in the arm. It is really the way we're going to get back to normalcy. And quite frankly, it's frustrating when I talk to people who are really so frustrated that they can't get back to normal behavior, and yet they say, well, no, I haven't gotten my vaccine. I'm still thinking about it. We've got to get shots in the arm, and then we'll all get back to the life that we have come to really enjoy and miss.
Well, I wouldn't want to ask you to put out every little fire that pops up on social media, but one of the sort of threads that makes the rounds is, look, there's a whole bunch of healthcare workers who don't want the vaccine, and these are the people who know. Can you talk a little bit about vaccine participation among your staff and doctors and nurses?
Sure. We have the majority of our team members are vaccinated. And when you get to physicians, you're in the 90+% vaccinated. So I don't think it's about any kind of inside knowledge. I think healthcare reflects the general population, and that we do have people that have hesitancies or that somehow believe because they had COVID already that they've got some antibodies and they can wait for a while. And I think this is a time where all of us have to just do something pretty simple, and that's trust science. I mean, it is working on our behalf. I would ask all of us to think about the state we would be in right now if these vaccines hadn't been created. And so I think that should be motivation for everyone. There's always going to be hesitancies, but this is our path to independence again.
And especially given light of the new variants that are making the rounds right now and what you're talking about, one of the things that worries me is when I read that a number of hospitals are really being pushed to the brink in their intensive care units. That's with a year's worth now of knowledge over how to treat these patients. That says a lot, doesn't it?
It does. And, as I mentioned, the patient population is younger, but please don't misunderstand. They are still very sick. We have improved dramatically the mortality rate. Far less people are dying because of the advancements in care, but these individuals are still very sick. And we also know that a percentage of them will go home and have lingering effects from COVID for months and months to come. So this is not something that any of us want to do anything but rally around putting it in its compartment, in its place.
The so-called long haulers, we keep hearing awful stories about their experiences. Lastly, I want to ask you the same question I asked Dr. Monto, and that is whether you're worried about our ability to reach sort of that herd immunity level, given the number. Sooner or later here, we're going to arrive at maybe we've got more supply than demand for the vaccine. At least that's the way it seems when we start looking into polls and who's willing and who's not willing to get the shot.
Well, I'm going to remain optimistic, and I'll tell you what, I pull up to our corporate office where my office is, 1 Ford Place, every day, and we're a mass vaccination site. We have turned our whole first floor, and I see lines of people every day for this vaccine. And I really believe as we continue this conversation and we appeal to people's common sense and common good and support of each other, Michiganders are going to come through. We're going to get these vaccine rates where we need them to be.
Let's hope so. We're going to talk about that in our next segment as we start to zoom in here on Detroit. In the meantime, Bob Riney, Henry Ford Health Systems, thanks so much for the time and stay well.
Thank you, Devin.
You bet. Back with more. Denise Fair joins us next on Flashpoint.